Yunakovka in the Sumy direction has become a mass grave for Russian occupiers. The futile attempt to hold the border village is resulting in heavy losses for the Russian armed forces. The Russian Z resource, Northern Channel, which is associated with the Russian armed forces, writes openly about this. If anyone asks what's going on in Yunakovka, the answer is one: complete madness. The soldiers don't live here, but have been living in burrows for 2 months now. What kind of rotation are we even talking about? They've forgotten the word here. Every trip for water or to pick up a 300th is not Russian roulette, but an almost guaranteed one-way ticket. Evacuation teams are suicide bombers. The sky is black with Ukrainian birds. FPV cameras and heavy bombers hang around the clock, dismantling any trench, any position. The Russian channel writes. He particularly complains about the work of the Ukrainian heavy UAVs, Baba Yaga. It feels like they, the Ukrainian Defense Forces, have wagons of these drones, while we'll skin you alive for every lost one. To practice FPV, you'd probably have to personally call the general staff. They use 3 to 4 FPV drones per soldier, and they don't spare any expense. Severny Kanal reported. The situation is dire for the Russian armed forces in the Sumy direction, and with artillery. Artillery? Their guns are hitting, and no one can shut them up. We seem to have some, but as soon as we fire one shot, they fire a dozen in response, and then finish us off with drones. The propaganda channel complained. It also reported on the acute shortage of manpower in the Sumy region and the active use by the occupiers of so-called crippled regiments, untreated soldiers of the Russian armed forces. The situation near Yunakovka demonstrates how technological superiority in drones and well-coordinated artillery support can transform positional warfare into a battle of attrition, depriving opponents of the chance to recover and forcing them to change their operational plans. Recall, Putin's army attacks Ukrainian armed forces positions near Tetkino, Besalovka, Alexeyevka and Varachino. Ukrainian forces counter-attacked near Sadki, Yunakovka, Tetkino and Besalovka. A Z public group associated with the Russian Northern Group of Forces claimed that Putin's army lacks the reserves to continue active fighting in the Sumy region. According to a Russian war correspondent, Ukrainian armed forces drones are preventing Putin's army from transporting all of its infantry by boat across the Filinchchina River near Kondratovka. To reinforce the occupiers of the 30th Motorized Rifle Regiment who are fighting in the Alexeyevka area, the Kremlin decided to form a new unit from the Strategic Missile Forces. This fact demonstrates the enemy's acute shortage of infantry reserves. It is also known that units of the 106th Airborne Division have been fighting in the Yunakovka area for 2 months without rotation or evacuation. According to Z channels, a company with 20 to 30 men is considered fully staffed. However, new recruits suffer serious wounds after every battle and are taken out of action. Yunakovka, according to Russian war correspondents, still remains a grey zone.
Protesters confronted law enforcement officers near a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Portland, Oregon on Sunday night. Officers were seen handcuffing and removing at least one protester. A federal judge late Sunday temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deploying any National Guard units to Oregon at all, after a legal whirlwind that began hours earlier when the president mobilized California troops for Portland after the same judge blocked him from using Oregon's National Guard the day before. According to Associated Press, during a hastily called evening telephone hearing, U.S. District Judge Karen Immergut granted a temporary order sought by California and Oregon. Immergut, who was appointed by Trump in his first term, seemed incredulous that the president moved to send National Guard troops to Oregon from neighboring California and then from Texas on Sunday, just hours after she had ruled the first time. The White House did not immediately comment on the judge's decision. Oregon is fighting to prevent federalized National Guard troops from coming to Oregon's largest city to address ongoing protests at an immigration processing facility there. Small protests have been going on outside the Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility since Trump's second term began in January. There have been occasional flare-ups, including in June, but for weeks nightly demonstrations attracted only a few dozen people. Trump, however, has turned his attention to the city, calling Portland war-ravaged, and a war zone that is burning down and like living in hell. Local officials have pointed out that the protest occupies one city block far from the downtown in a city that covers 145 square miles. They also say many of his claims and social media posts appear to rely on images from 2020, when unrest that grew out of the Black Lives Matter protests roiled the city for several months. Trump sent federal law enforcement to the city then, as well.
Fuck you! We're as far as we're going, motherfucker!
That's right. Fucking your team. Listen to fucking orders. Obey your fucking orders, boys.
Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up!
This is not war-torn. This is Portland.
We don't need help. We got it under control. Take a look.
The thing that's harming us is the escalation tactics that Trump's trying to use to create a narrative that, you know, Portland is this boogeyman that requires further militarization, and we just don't.
I'm hopeful that the courts, and I'm hopeful that ultimately common sense prevails, and we continue to be peaceful and not allow these things to happen in our cities and states.
You guys are going to fucking space. Nobody's saying You're open. I got my own.